Hello, my loves. Welcome to Pain to Joy. My name is Danielle Suddy, and I want to say thank you from my whole heart for being here today. Before we begin, I invite you to place one hand on your heart and one on your lower belly if that feels good to you. And take a deep, deep breath in into your lower belly. And a long exhale, exhaling all that no longer serves and perhaps never did. I've been spending a lot of time on my own as being around people has been really challenging for my brain. Talking is also challenging, however, as I am honestly lying here trying to rest in meditation, my brain's going all over the place, thinking of some things that feel important to share. And what feels so important to share is that I've talked on this podcast before about how life is happening for us, and how I believe that everything that happens in our lives is an opportunity for us to learn from, to grow from. We may not always understand it in the moment, and sometimes when things happen that are honestly awful or unpleasant, I've learned to say in the moment, you don't need to know what the lesson is right now. But earlier today, I went to a physio who specializes in concussions, and I was in a car accident in July of 2010. I was never diagnosed with a concussion at the time. 3 weeks post-accident, I was diagnosed with a sternal break, so my sternum had broken. And after I came out of the emergency room, after the accident, I was told that I had some soft tissue damage and to take it easy and go about my life. So unfortunately, not knowing about the sternal break until 3 weeks later, not knowing until 2+ years later or even more, I think it might have been 3 or 4 years later that one of my physios said, well, if your sternum was broken and you had sideways whiplash, then surely you had a severe concussion. But I was never treated as a concussion patient. So here I am, nearly 15 years later, which is wild to say out loud and to try not to get emotional about. Back at a physio who specializes in concussions and vestibular rehabilitation. And when I tell you that today she took the pen and moved it up and down, side to side, the waves of nausea, the pain that I felt mostly in the left side of my body brought me back over a decade to when I was seeing some amazing concussion neuro rehab physios. It was wild. And it was disconcerting. And it was upsetting. And if I'm honest, it has been really challenging. It'll be almost 2 months now that I have experienced waves of migraines and pain flares. I am very lucky that I had some pockets of time with family because it was my dad's birthday and it was my mom's birthday and my birthday, but I also made exceptions to be with my family for those experiences, and in being with them, I did set myself back on this healing journey. And that's okay because it's a choice that I made. My mom's parents both passed away a year ago, the day before my dad's birthday, a few days after my birthday, which is at the end of January. My mom's birthday is January 25th, and the last thing I wanted was to not be there for my mom. And I did do okay for a couple of days. I really paced myself. But the day after my birthday, I had a really big pain flare. And today, we're a few weeks into February, gosh, almost 3, and I am still healing. And the reason why all of this is relevant is I wasn't planning on being back in Canada at this time. I often have difficulties with my health in the winter. If you look back on my Facebook memories from a year ago, from the last 5, 6, 7 years, whenever I have been in Canada in January and February, when the weather is cold, I have had pain flare after pain flare, migraine after migraine. I don't want that for me. I don't want that to be my future. I refuse to believe that it is. But when I spoke earlier in this episode about how everything is happening for you, it's a gift to be back here. It sucks that I haven't been able to spend quality time reconnecting with friends, seeing people I love, because it's been so challenging. However, I had some knee pain a few weeks ago as I started to get back into my gentle workouts, reignited an old injury, decided that I should go see a physio. That physio said, wow, the migraine thing must be challenging. There's a physio here that you can see that could help you. And now I am going to see that physio and get on the path of healing and wellness. So if I'd never come back here through a series of events that we'll talk about another time, if I hadn't had these flares, which yes, have been unpleasant, not enjoyable, I wouldn't have made it to the physio today, who is optimistic that over time, and it will take time, that I can get stronger, that I can get back with my family and friends, that I can be out there in the world. So although a few hours ago at this appointment, I was honest with the physio, I shared how challenging it's been, I had this moment where I was lying here in meditation and I thought, that's why all of this happened. In a nutshell, some things went sideways with my condo board, with my property management company, which ultimately sort of forced me to come back sooner than I would have because of the cold weather situation. It wasn't on my radar to be back here at this time. And quite frankly, I've been pretty angry about that. Or I had been, all the while knowing that I am the creator of my life. So everything that's happened on some level, I own it, I've created it. But in this moment, I am thankful that everything I've experienced has brought me to now, because I will see this physio again next week. We will finish the assessment. We will come up with a plan, and little by little, with the teeniest, tiniest of baby steps, I will do exercises that I probably did a decade ago, over a decade ago. I will hopefully learn new things that have been discovered in the realm of concussion and brain rehab. And I will continue on a path so that hopefully in the future, no matter where I am in January and February, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, I will not experience pain flares and migraines. I will not be stuck in my house, unable to comfortably be around friends and family. The series of events that led me back to my home, that led me back to the cold climate, that has led to the pain flares and the migraines, has led me on a path of healing more than I've ever healed before. Feeling so awful for so long is a huge motivator to come up with this plan with this new physio who seems absolutely wonderful, to maintain it, to sustain it, and to eventually get back to the things that I love to be doing. And in the meantime, because it was very clear during the eye tracking and how much I reacted to it, that I want to stay away from screens as much as possible, I looked at getting stationery supplies delivered to my house, which I did this afternoon. Things like poster boards and markers and cards, things that I can do. As a lot of my creating, I'll talk to text on my phone, or I will use Canva and I will look at my phone, but that has to be something that I do not do, or I do not do very often. So I feel excited that I was able to get sort of pen and paper resources so that when I'm up to it in the next week, 2, 3, 4, as I heal, I can work on projects when my energy allows that will not require me to look at a screen or be on my phone. One of the things I shared with the physio today was this idea of how our modern world is so overstimulating, and a lot of us don't even realize it. So for example, I had a huge flare after my phone had crashed before Christmas. I came back to Canada. My phone was not functional, didn't work at all. Ended up at the Apple store for hours. So even though I was wearing my sound canceling earbuds, even though I was wearing sunglasses, I had a big flare. My phone stopped working again. New Year's Eve, I spent a few hours at Kudo where the light was so bright and I had forgotten my sunglasses. And January 1st, I had one of the worst flares I've had ever, worst migraines. But that was caused by this bright light. And I understand we have malls in Canada, especially because it's so freezing cold out in the winter. We need places to go and to not be freezing cold. But the lights and the sights and the sounds are so overstimulating. And I think a lot of us don't even realize it because we're just so used to it. And even myself, these last few weeks, I've had less migraines, but my eyes are totally twitchy. My brain still hurts a lot of the time. And so I'm limiting my time on the screen. However, it's still a primary way to be in contact with people, especially because being face-to-face, having conversations is so challenging. So of course I want to see if there's a message from someone or be able to check out things on social media. But all of that screen time, even if it's minimal, is negatively affecting my healing. And so I am going to do my best to stay away from screens. I'm going to create on pen and paper, which feels good when I say it out loud. I'm going to hold on to the feeling that even though it has been so challenging, this challenging time is going to propel me into the healthiest future possible, because I am absolutely determined to not be back in a place like this. I hope that on this podcast, I never again am talking about how I've had weeks and weeks and weeks of pain and migraines. That's a thing of the past. I am determined to create a brighter future that involves doing things that I love with the people that I love. And how I do that is teeny tiny baby steps every single day. Something I've thought about the last few weeks is what a successful life looks like. And to me, a successful life isn't a fancy house and a fancy car and a yacht, although I'd still really like a yacht. I'll keep you posted on that one. I believe our success as humans is measured in love, how much love that we give and receive, inner peace, peacefulness and harmony, and in our willingness to keep getting back up. So no matter how many times we fall, no matter how many times we feel like we failed, no matter how many setbacks we have, whether that's in our career, physically, health-wise, we wake up the next day, we remind ourselves that every day, that every moment is a fresh start, and we begin again. I've had times in the last month where I've been able to do my gentle workouts every other day. Then I've had more PAIN, and I've had to take a few days off. And when I'm feeling lighter, I get back to it. I use self-compassion, self-love, self-kindness to remind myself that it's okay if you needed to take a break. It's okay if you weren't up to it. You will get back to it when you're feeling like you can, and then I do. So it doesn't matter if you haven't worked out in a month or 6, or if you didn't clean that cupboard that you told yourself you were going to for weeks on end, or if you forgot to do something that was really important. Now that you've remembered, you can do it. You can get back to it. And it's that self-compassion and self-kindness and self-love that allows me to get back to the gentle workouts, that allows me to get back into my wellness routines if I've fallen out of them, because I'm being kind to myself, I'm being loving to myself. And that makes it all that much easier to get back into it. I didn't get mad at myself. I didn't punish myself. I just said, well, that happened. You needed a break. Well, that happened. You forgot. But let's get back to it. Try again. So please know that as I am heading back to this physio to help retrain my brain, to help get me back out doing the things I love with the people I love, as someone who started a brain physio rehab journey, over a decade ago, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to relearn things that I've already learned. I'm going to learn new techniques, hopefully. And I'm going to start all over again, because I truly believe that my brain will heal, that I can do this. So whatever it is that might be holding you back, whatever it is that has been painful for you, I invite you and encourage you to be creative. Seek supports you might not have thought of before. I wasn't thinking of going back to physio for my brain. It only happened because the physio for my knee realized how much it's something that I needed. Because I often think I can do it by myself. I know what I need to do. But clearly I need some help. So who could you reach out to for help? Maybe you need help with childcare. Maybe you need help with somebody cleaning your house or shoveling the walk. I get it. My budget's tight. But sometimes, all the time, you are worth it. But sometimes, even just to get you over a hump, it's worth it to enlist some help. Pay somebody to help you. Seek supports. Check if you have any coverage with your health benefits if you are lucky enough to have those. What's one thing in your life that you could use help with right now? Who could you reach out to? I implore you and I invite you to ask for help, to get some help, to make your life even a teeny tiny bit easier. Doesn't that feel good? I will keep you posted. I will let you know how it goes as I heal, as I rest, as I continue to love and support myself through it. And I think too, as someone who probably since I was 2 years old had this stubbornness and this declaration of, I can do it myself. I don't need to do it myself. You don't need to do it yourself. Ask for help. Get some help. Allow yourself to be supported. You're absolutely worth it. Even just the tiniest bit of help could make your life so much easier and propel you forward into a healthier, happier future. That's what I would want for you. That's what I would want for all of us. Sending you love, sending you peace. Thank you for allowing me to share some truths about my journey. My heart is always open to hear truths about yours. You can email me at dksutty@yahoo.ca. You can listen to this on YouTube now. You can follow me on Instagram at danielle.sutty or on Facebook, Danielle Sutty. It always helps if you follow or subscribe on YouTube, leave some comments, or write me personally and let me know how this episode or other episodes have landed for you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to share my journey. Please know that I am cheering you on, celebrating you, and loving you as you continue on your journey. You are loved. You are necessary. You matter. Your needs matter. Sending love. Hand on my heart. Deep breath in. Exhaling all that no longer serves and perhaps never did. May you find joy and peace on your journey. Until we meet again.